Hello, welcome to episode 5 of Little Bobbins Knits. My name is Dani and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Little Bobbins. And you can also find the group for the podcast, Little Bobbins Knits, on Ravelry as well, so it would be lovely if you came and joined there. Thank you very much for watching today, and if you're new to the podcast, thank you very much for coming and having a watch. It'd be lovely if you could let me know how you found the podcast. And if you're returning to the podcast, thank you so much for coming back. It means such a lot. Thank you very much to everyone who's been in touch this week on Ravelry or Instagram or the Ravelry group. It's been lovely to chat with you, and thank you for sharing your projects on the Ravelry group. That's been really exciting to see all of those come up. Thank you also to Melinda of the Yarnder Women podcast and to Denise from the Knitting Den podcast, because they both mentioned this podcast this week. So thank you very much to both of you. It was really lovely of you to do that, and I know some people have come over to my podcast from yours, so thank you very much for mentioning it. So we're in a different place today, as you might have noticed. We're in my sewing room, and that's because it is the dreariest of days outside. It's very, very grey and there's lots of rain, and we live in a pretty old cottage, so any lighting is an issue in this house anyway. So when it's grey outside, it's pretty grey indoors too. So we've come up to my sewing room in the hopes of finding some light. I've got all the lights on, so hopefully you'll be able to see something now. And I hope it's not going to blow things out too much, but we'll just muddle along and see how it goes. It's better than it was downstairs anyway. So today I've got my works in progress to share with you, my finished object and a wandering about a knit along. And in lovely things, I haven't got anything lovely for me. I've got something lovely for you, or one of you, so hopefully you'll like it too. So, works in progress. I'll start with these ones. These are my blueberry waffle socks, and these are in the Sparkle Duck Pebble yarn with the Tweedy Flex. I do them both at the same time for fear of second sock syndrome striking, and I've just turned the heel on both of them now. So I don't know if you can see the lovely tweedy bits. The lighting is isn't brilliant, is it? But it's all we've got, unfortunately. So tweedy, lovely yarn with sort of blues and pinks and nice delicate colours. I really like these. And the pattern's been good to knit, nice and simple, although I have gone wrong several times, because when things are just that side of simple, where you still have to think a little bit, I do manage to make mistakes because I just switch off my brain. So Knit 2 Purl 2 has been foxing me somewhat this week. I'm not sure that what heel is recommended in the pattern, but I've just done an Eye of Partridge heel because I like it. And I used the heel turn from the Skedaddle socks that I was knitting, or that I finished last week, because I really liked that. I thought it was a really interesting heel turn, and the socks that I knit, the Skedaddle socks that I knit, were for a gift, so I wouldn't get to try out how the heel fitted, so I thought I'd put them on these socks. So they're my blueberry waffle socks by Sandy Turner. I'm really enjoying those. They feel like they're going to be really nice and squishy and cosy to wear, so I'm pleased with those. My next work in progress, I'll show you this one first because you've seen it before, is my Flying Geese sock. I would probably have got a bit further on this, but I decided that the short rows that I had done weren't neat enough, so I ripped back to the cuff and started again, effectively. But I've now done the heel flap and heel turn, and interestingly enough, the heel turn is the same as the blueberry waffle socks and the skedaddle socks. So it's funny how you don't come across something and then all of a sudden it's in the next pattern you use. So I thought that was pretty fun. And I'm not sure if these are for me either. I think these will probably be for my mum, what with the quilting inspired design. So yeah, they're coming along. I mentioned last week that I was a bit nervous about how it would go with the heel turn and the quadrilaterals, but it was fine. The pattern is really well explained, so there was nothing to worry about. If anything, well, yeah, it's simpler on the foot because you only have the triangles on the top. So the bottom is just those quadrilaterals, which are perfectly simple and not scary. I did put this away for a little while because I was psyching myself out with the heel turn and everything. I thought it would be much more difficult than it actually was, so I did put them down for a bit. But when I picked them up, I told myself I was silly because it wasn't scary after all. So yeah, they're coming along, the Flying Geese socks by Lacey Volk, so I really love those. I still really love those. And my last work in progress is actually one that I started in January, and I think I knit all of the, it's a Vivid blanket by Tin Can Knits, and I started it in January, and I think I knitted all of these blocks in January and then put it down. So I've got this many so far, and I'm using Drops Baby Merino, 9 squares, and I'm using a pink, a pale blue, a pale pink, same blue, is that the same blue? Oh no, that's a darker blue, light grey, and a dark grey. And they obviously need a good block, but I really love this pattern, it's such a pretty one. So I knit one of those blocks this week. I sort of would like to have this finished by the end of the year, but I'm not going to hold my breath for that. But yeah, this one was finished and I started a new one. I find this pattern works much better for me on Magic Loop, so that's how I'm doing it. These are high interchangeables, high sharps interchangeables, and yeah, they're working really well for this. I don't know if you're going to be able to see all the laciness because of the horrible lighting, but hopefully you can see it. And I'm looking forward to that blanket, although I'm not looking forward to blocking each one individually and sewing them up. That's not an exciting thing, but it's got to be done because the blanket's going to be lovely. And I got 2 balls of each colour of this yarn, and I'm just going to knit until I run out, I think, and then just work out how they're going to go together. Hopefully I'll get a sort of rectangular blanket, but I'm not sure how many I'm going to get. I think I get three blocks out of 1 ball, so I could add it up, but we'll just wait and see. It'll be exciting. So that's all my works in progress, and my finished objects are these mittens. These are the mittens that I made convertible. So like that, by picking up the stitches along here and then knitting the flap after doing a little bit of a fingerless mitt type top. So I really like those. I'm really pleased with how they came out. And I didn't worry about matching the stripes up, partly because I was a bit concerned that I'd run out of yarn. I didn't know how much I would need, and as it turns out I've got a little bit left over, but it's only a tiny amount, enough for a square on my blanket hopefully. So yeah, 2 little convertible mitts. I'm not putting a button or anything on here because I feel like they stay down enough, and when you're wearing convertible mitts your hands are usually cold, so you usually want to put the flap up as soon as you can, don't you? So I'll probably leave a button. And I did full thumbs, and yeah, I'm really pleased with how they came out. So they were a sort of semi-improvised pattern because I couldn't find a convertible mitt pattern that I liked. So I knit the mitten, then I started knitting this fingerless mitt portion, then I came back with the same yarn that I hadn't cut off and picked up the stitches along the knuckle to make the flap. I cast these ones on and made the flap. So they're for Mum because they were a bit small for me, so I promised them to Mum, but now I've blocked them, they're the perfect size for me. So, but now I've promised them to Mum, I can't say actually you can't have them because that would be mean. And this is Regia sock yarn. It's one of the K Facet lines of Regia, and the colourway is icing, but the information will be in the project page when I make one, because I've just realised I haven't actually made a project page for them. And these sort of bring me on to a possible knit along. Someone in our group suggested that that might be the first knit along that we have together, so let me know what you think about a mitten knit along. I think it'll be really fun. I want to try another pair of these convertible mitts with a more rounded top, so that's what I probably knit in the knit along. Although I was having a look at the mitten patterns the other day, oh, there's some really nice ones. I really like some of the Fair Isle ones. There's one pair, I can't remember who it's by, but it was released in a Twist collective, and it's just got loads of kittens on it. I think that's brilliant. So let me know what you think about a mitten knit along. We could have it so you could knit mittens or fingerless gloves or gloves, just some sort of hand warmy type thing. And I was thinking that we do it as a make mittens out of anything sort of along. So if you wanted to make felt ornaments for your Christmas tree, or you wanted to crochet mittens or fingerless gloves, or you wanted to make them out of felt for actual hands, not Christmas trees, then yeah, let me know what you think. I think the only sort of rule would be that they were a pair. So let me know what you think about a mitten along. I think it would be really fun. So I'll start up a thread in the group, and if you could come and let me know whether you fancy doing one of those. I think we'd probably start in a couple of weeks, long enough for you to decide on your pattern, gather any yarn or supplies that you might need. They're a lovely gift, so it might be a good time of year to do a mitten along. So yeah, let me know what you think in the Ravelry group. So that's my only finished object. So that brings me on to lovely things. And I didn't get anything lovely this week, but I did make something lovely for you. I made you a little bag, little drawstring bag. And I thought this could be the first giveaway in the Ravelry group. So it's just a little cute sock sort of size drawstring bag. And I've made it, it's sort of a combination of lots of my favourite things. So I've used linen, which is one of my favourites, that I've tea dyed, and tea is one of my favourites. I love polka dots, stripes and hearts. So there's little bobbins on the back. And I love bunting, as you can see behind us. So yeah, this is a little thank you to you for being part of my group. So I thought I'd make it out of my favourite things. So if you want to win this, then I'll set up a thread in the Ravelry group and just tell me a couple of your favourite things. It'd be nice to find out a little bit more about you. They don't have to be knitting related. They don't have to be fabric related. Just a couple of your favourite things, one or more. It's no pressure. I just sort of like this to go to someone who'd like it, so I don't want to give it away randomly, because I know not all people like what I like. So yeah, so go to the Ravelry group, Little Bobbins Knits. You obviously have to be a member of the group to win it, because it's a thank you for being a member of the group and for watching the podcast. So yeah, go over there and tell me some of your favourite things. And I think that's everything for this week. If you haven't already, do come and join the Ravelry group, Little Bobbins Knits. We've had some new threads start up. I've started one about quilting, because lots of you were interested in having a go at quilting after seeing the quilts that I showed you last week, which was so exciting. If you can get me motivated to work on my English paper piecing quilt, then I will love you forever, because it's already going to take me a horrendous amount of time, but I really want to work on it. So that's fun starting that. I've put in a couple of tutorials that I've found, and other members of the group have added some tutorials that they've found, which has been really good. And yeah, do come along, sew with us and add pictures to the thread. Come and join the giveaway for the little bag, and let me know what you think about a mitten knit along, or mitten along, because you can make them out of whatever technique you fancy. And obviously I'll find some prizes for that, because prizes are so fun. So thank you so much for joining me this week. It'd be lovely to see you again next week if you fancy coming back, and have a lovely time until I see you then. Thank you very much. Bye.